I really don't know if I'm going to be able to stop smiling throughout this entire video because Donald Trump just capped off the most humiliating week of his entire presidency with the worst humiliation yet. Now, it seems difficult to top the shellacking that took place on Tuesday night, but somehow Donald Trump found a way to do it because while he was supposed to be honoring veterans at the Washington Commanders game, and honoring veterans seems something antithetical to Donald Trump's existence, he was so mercilessly booed. You could see him getting furious because it was right to his face and it was loud as hell. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into this clip, which I just can't even think about without laughing, I want to start with someone who so perfectly summarized the current state of the Trump presidency and how unpopular he is. It's the context we need from Gavin Newsom.
You guys have awakened up our immune system. We're dealing with an invasive species by the name of Donald Trump. He is an historic president, however. Historically unpopular president. Under every key category. I mean, you can't even make this is hard to do. On every issue, on the economy, on tariffs, on immigration, on health care. Historically unpopular president. And he knows it. And he knows it. Why else? Why else did he make that call to your governor? Why else did he feel the need to rig the election before even one vote was cast? That's just weakness. Weakness masquerading as strength. That's Donald Trump. And he had a very bad night on Tuesday.
Please let's remember how unpopular Donald Trump is and why I wanted to start with that clip, why I think it is so important to Donald Trump getting booed to his face tonight is because right now there are Democratic senators who are thinking about caving to Donald Trump. The guy who just suffered a brutal election loss, multiple brutal election losses because of how poorly he has governed, because he is a dictator that everyone really just thinks is a dick. Donald Trump is suffering huge losses and is seeing his unpopularity. He is the most unpopular president hit numbers we have never seen before. That is what is happening with Donald Trump. And so if Senate Democrats or Chuck Schumer thinks it's a good idea to cave to this guy in this form, in this moment, they shouldn't be in politics. They should be doing what Gavin Newsom is, and that is fighting back against Donald Trump. Because this isn't a guy who is obsessed with himself and everybody sees it. Just take a listen to what Trump had to say right before he walked into the stadium.
Going to swear in a lot of great people right now. I'm a little bit late. I just want to say, was that the greatest flyover ever? Nobody's ever done a flyover like that. So these are the best pilots in the world. They say whoever flies Air Force One, the best pilots. And we just saw that. That was great. So we're going to have a good game. Things are going along very well. Country's doing well. The Democrats have to open it up. Thank you very much, everybody.
It's also important to remember that Donald Trump isn't just obsessed with his flyover, but Trump wants the Washington Commanders to name their planned $3.7 billion stadium after him, multiple sources with knowledge of the situation told ESPN. So Donald Trump is supposed to be going to honor our men and women who have served this country. And he starts by talking about how beautiful his plane is, what a wonderful flyover, and I'm a great guy and everyone loves the plane. But then we also have to keep in mind that this stadium full of people about to boo Donald Trump, as we'll see, he wants that stadium, the new stadium being built, to be named after him. It is all me, 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 me. It is all Trump, 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 Trump all the time. And it's why the beautiful, beautiful karma that Donald Trump so deserves was just delicious to watch. The merciless booing never stops for Trump at sporting events, but he still decides to go. And oh boy, this might be my new favorite song. I might make it my ringtone. Take a listen.
support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies.
It's just beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch. And his face, I just can't stop from smiling. You can see his face as he's talking. It's like, God damn, why did I do this? Oh no. Oh, they're booing. Oh, it's getting louder. Like you can barely hear Trump over the boos. The mic is blasting, but he is being drowned out. And that audio is all that Senate Democrats need to be listening to right now. That audio right there. You don't need to listen to anything else except for the calls that are going to be coming in all night and all week. I can promise you if these people decide to cave. What are you caving to? What leverage does Donald Trump have? Americans in droves just turned out on Tuesday to say, we hate this administration. We want you to protect our health care. We are suffering right now. People are suffering right now because they know that if Democrats capitulate, they know what is on the other side of this shutdown, if Donald Trump gets his way, is worse than what is currently happening. We understand that. We know that. And so it doesn't make sense to give a win that is undeserved to the least popular president in American history at his least popular point in either of his presidencies, as his administration is literally coming apart at the seams and he is unable to stay awake during an Oval Office press conference. Donald Trump has never been a great negotiator. The art of the deal wasn't even written by him, okay? This guy doesn't make deals, and he's half dead. Speaking of which, this is the current state of Donald Trump. This is what he looks like in the Oval Office. Like you could switch him out with our skeleton friend right here, and nobody would know the difference because he's just asleep all the time. And you're going to strike a deal with that guy? You're going to give him a huge win? Why? Democrats, don't. Please. I shouldn't have to beg. I don't have to tell you this. You should know it. Chuck Schumer, listen up. Listen to the boos. People hate this guy. They hate the administration. There is no reason to capitulate. Have a little backbone. Have a little bit of that. He's got it. He's not alive. Please. I feel like I'm going crazy at the idea that we would give Donald Trump a win right now. It doesn't make any sense. He is the guy getting booed everywhere he goes. Everywhere he goes. I don't know how many more times I have to reiterate the fact that people are behind us. People want to push back against Donald Trump. No Kings was the single largest ray of protest we have ever seen in American history. And you're telling me that Americans don't want to get behind a fight against this fascist takeover? Come on, get out of here. Have some spine. Fight back. Like the guy who is making it clear how to do that, Gavin Newsom right here.
Democrats are the ones keeping this government shutdown going. Do you agree with the strategy?
Well, bottom line is the President of the United States canceled a meeting with the two leaders because of public pressure before the government shutdown. He decided to have that meeting. He didn't invite you and others in, which for Donald Trump in and of itself is remarkable. He just instead sent out a Truth Social with Trump 2028 hats. And then he went golfing that weekend before the shutdown, shortly thereafter. He had no interest or energy into avoiding this government shutdown. He has no interest or energy to end it today. He's the President of the United States. As someone who's an chief executive of a state larger than 21 state populations combined, the fourth largest economy, you have a responsibility in that role to convene, to bring people together. That's why there's a government shutdown, period, full stop. What the Democrats, though, have done, and I give Jeffries and Schumer tremendous credit, is they've galvanized people of all political stripes, rural, urban, suburban, on the issue that defines so many problems in so many ways in so many days, and that's healthcare and the anxiety people are about to feel with 100 to 388% in California, up to 388% increase in premiums and costs. So I think they've been right, but Donald Trump needs to act like the president, not just be president. He needs to do the job.
So there are a lot of repercussions for this government shutdown. Obviously, air travel is a mess. And then SNAP benefits, food stamp benefits for 42 million Americans. As we sit here, the Trump administration is fighting a court order to tell them to pay out full SNAP benefits. Vice President J.D. Vance called the judge's ruling that the U.S. needs to pay, the Trump administration needs to pay these SNAP benefits. He called the ruling absurd. He said the administration is, quote, not going to do it under the orders of a federal judge. Now, I know that's 5 million Californians receive SNAP benefits.
5.5, and the difference is in California, they were fully restored in my state through November. That said, they obviously have not been in the vast majority of states. But think about the state of mind of the vice president. How do they honestly, how do you square the circle when you go to a prayer breakfast? How do you square the circle? I mean, Old Testament, New Testament. Well, what's the fundamental thing that connects from John to Matthew to Proverbs? It's this notion of hunger, feeding the poor, the sick, the tired. It's not an option, it's central to advancing God's will. I mean, the fundamental point that we'd be using, because this is what it's about.
Wake up. Wake up and listen to Gavin Newsom. And it's funny that the two people I'm telling to wake up right now are represented in this interview. The first is elected Democrats who aren't being like Gavin Newsom, who are stuck in the old ways, who are writing the op-eds, are writing the strongly worded letters, aren't actually fighting. And the other people I'd like to tell to wake up are the mainstream media, the Jake Tappers, who see Donald Trump like this in the Oval Office and say, do you know what I'll write about? I'll write about Joe Biden again. Or did you see this? His partner in crime wrote about how James Tallarico follows like a couple of OnlyFans models on Instagram and follows like some adult content creators, and like that was a big scandal. That the guys who brought you in the middle of an authoritarian takeover were going to write about Joe Biden. Those dudes right now are focused on James Tallarico, like following some hot girls on Instagram. Like, sure. Crisis. Who cares? Like, good. I'm glad that we have some Democrats, some dudes following some hot girls on Instagram. You don't need to look through my Instagram following. I actually wouldn't care. Who gives a fuck? Why is that what the mainstream media is focused on? Donald Trump is like dead in the Oval Office, and we're talking about like dudes liking women's photos on Instagram. It's like, oh my God, James Tallarico is a pastor, but he follows a hot girl. It's like, who cares? But this is what the mainstream media is obsessed with. That's what they're just obsessed with, the little nitpicky, the little bullshit. Meanwhile, we got the big shit going on, and they don't seem to care. So I'm telling you to wake up. Senate Democrats, Jake Tapper, wake up. That's my call tonight. And I'm sorry if it's a little angry. I'm sorry if it's a little ranty. But by God, I'm going to watch that video of Donald Trump all night, and I'm going to smile, watch him getting booed. And it should fuel actual journalism and actual fighting. We're going to keep talking about that on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. Go 49ers. I don't know if you're watching this and they will have beaten or lost to the Rams. Let's hope they beat the Rams. And until next time, I'll see you soon.